Hey everyone, I'm back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Hopefully you can hear me. I know we usually do mental health moment at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I will be catching a flight at that time. Hopefully you can hear me. I apologize. I'm in the airport in Arkansas, so it's a little loud in the background, so just bear with me. I know we're a little bit earlier. Thank you for those who are joining. As I mentioned, we're a little early today for Mental Health Moments, so some of you probably are still tuning in at 7:30, so you won't unfortunately see it live, but you'll still see today's Mental Health Moment. But I want to remind you that this is still the month of July. We only have, 2 days left here, right? Today and tomorrow. But July is Minority Mental Health Month. And hi for those who are still joining. Let me know where you're tuning in from. As I mentioned, for those of you just now joining, I am in an airport in Arkansas, which is why I'm doing a mental health moment a little bit earlier today. But thank you again for tuning in. And on today's mental health moment, on the very last Tuesday in the month of July, I want to remind each and every one of you how important it is when you find valuable resources. We've listed so many here, right, on mental health moment. Please make sure that you're sharing these resources, whether it is about self-care, whether it's about wellness, it's about health, education, anything that can support the community that we are in. Please share those valuable pieces of information. It's so, so important. And hi for those who are still joining from New York and Dallas, Texas. I put on the mental health moment here in the comment section, usually my social media, so feel free to reach out. Usually I'm on Instagram, Dr.Hammond, but I'm also on Facebook and Twitter or my website. If you have any questions whatsoever, please reach out to me. I know many of you do, even if it's a direct message or you need resources in your area, definitely here is a resource for you. But I think really more importantly, what I want to leave you with as we're ending the month of July is just really to remember that we all, right? You don't have to be a psychologist like I am, but we all have the opportunity to really take the information, the reputable information that we have, and to share it with others. I cannot stress that enough, because again, I can share as many resources as I know, right, with each and every one of you, but if we're not sharing it within our global community, really, because I know many of you are tuning in from all over the world, that is how we're going to create change and really remind people about self-care and remind people about wellness. And as you know, that is so, so very important to me that each and every one of you have this. I also really want to share something, and thank you for those who are still joining here from the Bahamas, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Fresno, California. Thank you for joining. And I really want to leave you with something. So today I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas on a business trip. I'm actually about to head home, which is why I'm doing this mental health moment early. But I went to the high school here where the Little Rock Nine, if some of you know, in the U.S., we're a part of. In 1957, there was basically a desegregation crisis. And I went to the high school today and the historical center, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was difficult. It was a little bit emotional for me to see how teens were treated. I mean, again, we're in very different times, right? We're in 2019. I do believe we've made some progress, of course, with civil rights, but it was hard for me to see that on many levels as a mom, as a psychologist, as a person with brown skin, right? But what was amazing to me was there was a part of the exhibit where they had telephones. They literally looked like a payphone, and you could hear some of the interviews of the Little Rock Nine members, obviously a lot older now. They're not teenagers anymore. But what was fascinating to me was their resilience and how, I mean, of all that they went through, and if some of you don't know the story, these are teens that back when we were still trying to integrate high schools, frankly, the beginning times of that, they were Black teens, and I mean, they experienced so much, and people spitting at them, throwing things at them, just a lot of political forces, a lot of negativity, a lot of discrimination. I mean, they can go on and on, right? But when I was listening on the telephone in the exhibit booth, and I could hear some of their stories, but I could hear the resilience that they had, and just the perseverance, and just reminding us, I feel like in today's era, right, that no matter what, there's so much we're always going to hear on the internet, social media, politics, you name it. There's so much. However, to have that resilience to and how they were supported by different people within their communities, whether it was white people supporting them, black people supporting them, or whomever, right? We always want to have this us versus them conversation, I feel like, in politics and this black and white, no pun intended, thinking, but it's not really like that cut and dry. There are people that are horrific in the world, and there are people that are there to support you. And I'm sharing this with you because, as I mentioned, it was hard, and it was an emotional experience going to that historical site. But I leave this with you because there are so many people. That was an inspirational story for me, and especially to hear the voices of the people of the Little Rock Nine, right, that lived during that time. But I want to remind you that you need to be making sure that you find the people in your life, the social media in your life, the news in your life that are inspirational, that are uplifting, and that are supportive to you and your family and your friends. Very, very important. And we've talked about that before. That could be a whole nother topic, right? But make sure that you're finding those things that are positive and uplifting, because there's a lot of negativity. And if you fall into that, it's not good for your mental health. So I really want to leave you with that on this mental health moment. And if you don't know the story, I know we have people tuning in from really all over the world here, but if you don't know the story, I would encourage you to look up the Little Rock Nine. As I mentioned, I just went to that exhibit today, and it was just fascinating to learn even more. And as I mentioned, to hear the voices of people that went through that time and just came out and are so resilient with all that they went through. And I hope that's inspiration for you as well, no matter how old you are. I know we have people of all ages listening, and again, I have to run and catch a flight here. but again, if you ever need me at any time, please reach out. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you're on, social media wise, or website has my email. But I'm so happy to do this mental health moment, even if I'm in an airport sometime, right? I try to definitely get this information to you. So again, please share reputable resources. Please share, if it's inspirational quote, even self-care tips, anything that you find, share it with others, because that is how we're going to have a healthier world. So be well, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.